you have a female narcissist, let's talk about the roles that they play. It kind of looks like, okay, so narcissistic mothers. We talk about that a lot, right? The narcissistic mother has some specific traits that make it a little different from a narcissistic father or a another role they might play in your life. The narcissistic mother is a very controlling woman. She will be a person who will not let you individuate, be an individual, or have your own life. She will maintain control through lots and lots of ways of maintaining control of you. Mostly she will, well, not mostly, but she'll not let you do outside things without needing to control those outside things. I mean, you could talk millions of ways in which a narcissistic mother controls you, right? But control is a big one with a narcissistic mother. They not only control you, but they control the entire structure of the family. They become the matriarch, so to speak, but a not very pleasant, kind matriarch, one that is there to serve her own ego. So the narcissistic mother will control the roles that other people have in the family. For instance, she'll assign roles to people such as her partner, or could even be her mother or her daughter, or she'll assign the role of the enabler to someone in the family. They are the person who will have her back. They're the person that'll stand by her. They're the ones that are so far into the trauma bonding that, we would even call it Stockholm syndrome at that point, right? Where they align themselves with the narcissist in order to survive her, in order to not be the one that all the blows come toward, all the emotional attacks come toward. And so they enable the behaviors they make excuses for. They'll be your friend, but they will be the flying monkey, right? They'll be kind and loving to you and sweet on their own. As soon as they're around her, they're the flying monkey back to her, or as soon as doors are closed and they're alone with her. So the narcissistic mother gathers people around her and creates the whole system of the family, the toxic family structure. And so that goes, as far as like this, who's the scapegoat, who's the golden child, and all of that. With a narcissist, with a patriarch, with a matriarchal type of thing like this, it's harder to see because, of course, often the mother of any family is the emotional center of the family. Does that make sense? And so society-wise and historically and all of that, it looks pretty normal until you get involved in it, until you really see that she's there to manipulate things, to have control, and to be the one who is, yeah. So let's talk more. What else do they do? The narcissistic mother gives conditional love. All narcissists give conditional love, right? But you don't expect that from your mother. So enough said there. They will not validate you. You may have an experience in life that's fantastic and they shoot it down. You may have an opinion that's different from theirs and they will not let you speak it without an argument or criticism or somehow manipulating it back to the way she thinks, right? They're unpredictable. They have a nice side and a mean side. All narcissists have the hot and cold, have the nice, mean, that's, but again, do you expect that from your mother? No, and when you grow up with it, yes, you do expect it. But when you think of mother and you haven't grown up with this, people who don't understand it, they can't get that part, right? That a mother could be so polarized, so one black and white, so hot, cold. They, what was I right here? They are emotionally volatile. The narcissistic mother is you don't want to cross her. You don't want to get her upset. You're walking on eggshells. They keep up appearances. She needs to be seen as the good mother, and she'll do anything she can to support that image that she's trying to create of being the good mother, being the one who is got the best interest of the kids at heart, the one who has all the answers. it's to an extreme. Well, they'll go out and seek information and get pieces of information that will support whatever it is they are trying to promote, right? Do you know what I'm talking about if you've had that experience? So a little bit more about the narcissistic mother is their belittling nature. They cannot, sometimes it's covert, the belittling nature. Yeah, you did great, but, or, well, it could have been better. Or building, if you're been put in the role of a golden child, building you up and then forcing you to stay in the role of a perfectionist. We talked about that a couple weeks ago. So anyway, enough on the mother. We talk about the mothers a lot. Let's go on. Another role a female narcissist might play. Now imagine this is one woman. Okay, let's just pretend we're looking at one female narcissist and she has all these roles. So when we are the victims and the survivors of a narcissistic person, we often feel like it's something happening to us, because it is happening to us, right? But there's a piece that we have to remember, and then that is that narcissistic person is doing the manipulation, doing the things, whatever it is they're doing, to everyone in their life. It may not look the same, and they may have people who don't get the brunt of it, so to speak, but if it got close enough, and if that narcissist had a need to use that person for something, they would. So it doesn't really matter what role you're in. It's not healthy when you're around a narcissist. And so the one woman can be playing many roles, just like a male narcissist, he's playing many roles in his life too. And I think people often forget that it's not just the partner of a narcissist who is suffering. It's the children, it's the friends, it's the coworkers, it's everyone in this one person's life. So that's a mother is also a partner, let's say. Okay. And so what is the characteristics of a narcissistic female partner? Slightly different from the male partner. It just comes out differently. It's the same stuff. It just comes out differently. And the reason I'm talking about it is we don't talk about it enough. We do a lot of speak about the male narcissist, or we speak about it in general as if we're talking about guys, but there's women involved here too. So, okay. There is a victim playing martyrdom that the female narcissist will pull out whenever she needs it. She will be, oh, everyone's attacking her in a way that is so obvious if you watch it. Like, wait, now you're a victim, right? So, sorry. Let's stop that. So anyway, they play the victim. They do that to get out of taking accountability. Whenever there's a need to take accountability, they're suddenly the victim. They are jealous and competitive and need to be the center of attention. They go out of their way to create situations even so that they can act jealous and then flip things to being the center of attention. Female narcissists as a partner is generally overbearing. They also are as mothers as well, but I mean, they are as people generally, but overbearing in the sense of you never ever having your voice needs heard. And here's the difference. I'm going to say this, and I don't mean disrespect by this in any way, but when you're in a relationship with a man and you say you aren't meeting my needs, I would guess that most men have heard that. Okay. A lot of men, even ones that are very compassionate and try to hear. It is expected that females will hear the needs of others more. I know that's not necessarily, I don't even know how to say that right. Like, do you know what I'm saying though? Like when you're in a relationship with a female, you kind of expect the female listening ear. And I'm not trying to be totally gender specific here, but there is something in the expectations we have, whether they're right or wrong. Okay. So when you have a female narcissist that is not listening and not letting anyone else's needs be met, only hers, it becomes really obvious that something is off, because mostly am I saying this right? I don't know if I am, but anyway, you hear what I'm saying there, hopefully. There's an aggression to the female narcissist. They tend to be often hot-headed, aggressive at things that are way out of proportion, things that aren't going their way. And then they'll flip and play the victim afterward. Or the "you made me do it" kind of thing. They get away with it. They don't take accountability. They have no boundaries. They push boundaries. All narcissists do this. How does the female do it? They will do things throwing around their sexuality, throwing around their generosity, throwing around. So they'll use certain things that are, again, expectations of the gender to use that in order to get their way. They are not doing those things because they're generous one minute and not the next. They're being generous in order to get something from you. And the expectation is that they will be generous. And then they will throw, again, I've talked about this before, the gender roles around, which confuses everything and makes it very difficult to call them on their actions. So they tend to be cunning people. They tend to set things up more than the male narcissist does. As partners, they set up situations to target their supply as, victimize them, really. They tend to set up situations where, okay, I'll just give an example. For instance, they might, criticize, or they might say, well, you're cheating on me, which we know that probably means they're the ones doing it. And so I don't want you to talk to your friend. So then the friend might text, and it might be such a simple thing as something that needs to be said, like, I dropped off your book that I borrowed on your doorstep. Just want to make sure it got to you. Something super benign, and you lie to them and say that no one ever texted. Or if they ask, you say, no, they didn't text. So they set up the situation so that you're walking on eggshells and unable to speak about normal, natural things, so that you just don't get in trouble. This is super common. They manipulate everything. So, okay, female narcissist as a friend. They're awful friends, first of all. They're not friends. How can you be friends with someone who doesn't, it's like anything. How can you be a partner or friends or anything with someone who doesn't have empathy, right? It's very kind of impossible. So they have unrealistic expectations on the friendship, on their friends. The female narcissist will base everything on her own emotional needs and her own emotional wants, and ignore, neglect, and often criticize the friend if they have any themselves. They'll just flip it around to whatever they need and go with it. They, what did I put here? I wrote stuff down. Okay. Again, they're jealous. They don't like having natural friendships that allow for other people to be there. They tend to have a friend and hold that friend as if they're mine, right? And then they won't let that friend have other friends. So they get jealous, and what they do, things like triangulation, and so they might be friends with one person and, here, and another person there. All three of you are friends, but they're really secretly turning each other against each other. I had one do that personally, and it was fascinating to watch how they would take both of us, tell us different things so that her and I would turn on each other. And when we didn't, and just sort of stopped talking because the whole thing got too messy, it took years for me and the not narcissist friend, to reconcile and go, what just happened? Was that all set up? Did that person, was she truly triangulating things over what? There was nothing. There was no reason. We all got along fine. So anyway, you see, we seem to get along fine. They do things like that because they cannot handle the attention going toward other people. They can't handle one of the others having the spotlight for even a second. So narcissistic friends, they're awful. They are draining. They are exhausting. They're emotionally exhausting. Okay, well, they might talk down your other friends so that you not only does it make you uncomfortable, but it makes you start doubting your other friendships. They may do that with your partner or your family. They're doing the thing of trying to isolate you from everyone else. They get attacked if you disagree with them. They feel attacked if you have something to say that makes them think about the fact that they should take accountability for something. They don't like that. And they will attack you and say you're not supporting them and you're not on their side. They'll turn on you. There's always the feeling that they could turn on you. They may treat you amazing, but what they're doing is using you as a flying monkey and getting information from you about other people. You see, narcissistic friend always has something in place, something going on that's leading back to her own needs to support the delusion that she lives in, just like it is for every other relationship. They're horrible friends. They turn on you. They're hot and cold. They're all over the place. Okay. One last thing here we'll talk about quickly is narcissistic female in the workplace, a coworker. What you often get is the mean girl, the bully, or the victim who points the finger back at you when things go wrong. They will throw you under the bus and set you up to fail. They cannot handle other people's success. They cannot handle other people's, this is true of all narcissists. The female can do it in a way, again, through using playing the victim, playing, if it's a female and there's a talking to anyone, but often a male, they may throw, they may do things to get him in trouble, claiming sexual harassment. And that's not saying that when people claim this, it isn't real. It's saying a narcissist will use what's real for some people for her own gain, so that she can get away with something. She can get someone fired. She can take the position. She can do whatever she wants. Okay. They talk a lot about themselves and their accomplishments, so much so that they may even, and often do, steal your accomplishments or someone else's accomplishments and claim them as their own. Having to work on a team with one can be horrible because you're just basically giving them all of your good. They're taking the credit for it. And again, in the workplace, the female narcissist now has the advantage of being it makes me angry because they're using what should be the progressive thinking of society and the ability for equality in the workplace to their own advantage and for their own gain in a way that is toxic. Everyone should be in the workplace, of course, for their own gain, because this isn't personal, this is work and you're trying to achieve, right? But not at the expense of other people, and not by faking things and lying about things and triangulating people in order to get there. Does that make sense? So, but then they become protected because you can't tell her, you can't say she's doing any of these things unless you can catch them red-handed. So it's, again, a way they get away with stuff, and they use anything they can. Often in the workplace, they may give the cold shoulder to people. Again, I said bullying and mean girl mentality and practices, and get away with it, right? They are terrible listeners. They lash out at others for the mistakes they make. So they may just, especially when they have power over that person. So those are a few descriptions of some of the roles that a narcissistic female might play. There's so much more to talk about, and this is, each of these could be expanded into long discussions. If you have any questions, or if you want to add some stuff, add it into the comments. Let me know what you think. We'll talk more later this week. I hopefully am going to be going live with Angie on her channel this week, so that'll be fun. If you need anything, any questions, or if you need help with learning about narcissism, check out the links in the description of every video. There's also links for coaching and group coaching if you need that. So take care, and I'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.